Hey folks, lyarri here. Today we're reacting to God of War Ragnarok Dunkview by video game Dunkey. So excited to find out about this game when I still need to play the first game. Yeah, let's go.
When I hear AAA video game, I think of stuff like this. Like AAA video game? Oh, you mean this type of game, right? AAA level.
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok is the rarest type of AAA video game, in that it actually is a really good video game.
Oh
In
my
the
god.
first hour of this game, you race out of a collapsing forest on a dog sled, then you fight a giant bear, and then you fight Thor. That is how you do a fucking video.
Banger.
Since the last God of War came out in 2018, there have been a lot of great action games. Games like Sekiro, Devil May Cry, Katana Zero, Neo 2,
Katana Zero,
Hades,
so
Metroid
good.
Dread, Elden Ring. Just 2 weeks ago, I was playing Bayonetta 3. God of War has never been Tekken, okay? But Ragnarok subtly builds on a foundation which has aged pretty gracefully in the face of such heavy competition. The key word in describing Ragnarok's combat is balance. It's challenging but not unfair. It's flashy without taking control from the player. It's simplistic
cool.
but still lets you get a little fancy. Watch it. Yeah.
Oh,
Now watch this. I'm
like
gonna hit this man with
NPC.
the Looney Tunes surprise. Where'd the floor go? One of my biggest criticisms of the last God of War is how it would recycle a lot of its mini bosses. This game does not do that. This game, whoo, you know Funko Land? These guys went to Fucko Land on these bosses. I went into this game expecting the sequel to God of War, but really what we got here is the sequel to God of War and then the sequel to that game. Ragnarok is God of War 2 and 3 in one game. That's how many crazy boss fights are in this. My favorite boss,
It
I don't
looks
want to spoil
fun.
it, but your goal is to break a big cauldron. If there's one obvious flaw with God of War's gameplay, it's the traversal. It sucks. You look at other Sony games like Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank, and those games' traversal is just as good, if not better, than the combat. But what makes God of War special is how it marries fun combat with engaging storytelling. Right from its opening shot, Ragnarok masterfully draws you back into its world with incredible acting performances. There's a much heavier emphasis this time on building up the world of God of War. There's a lot of side quests and lore to uncover,
Oh,
but for
pretty.
me, the most fulfilling part is just soaking in these beautiful environments. There is more artistry in some of God of War's doors than there is in entire video games. The sandy tempest of Elfheim, obscure lantern-lit bones of a mammoth creature, beams of moonlight peer through the leaves of a gungle tree in Mufelkin. Heat seems to ooze out of the screen in the bubbling pits of Lava Lava Island from Mario 64. There are so many creatures and little details everywhere in this game that sometimes you just have to stop and savor it all. Yes, this is the 700th open world game where you lead a rebel force against a tyrannical dictatorship. You've seen this story before, but you've never seen it executed on this level before. This is big budget blockbuster entertainment with little interest in rehashing the previous game's story. There is some dialogue that'll make you groan.
Everything's okay, right? Yeah, I'm just in a magical forest that shouldn't exist. Talking to another giant and she's...
Boy.
The scope of this game is much wider than the original, bringing back the original cast while introducing many new faces like Angra Boba, Tyr, Amir, Mimir, Finmir, Munko, Mumra, and the funny squirrel guy that I like.
Simply
Oh.
throw your axe and strike the chimes, and I will attend to your needs.
I like him too.
I am already here. Perhaps there was some confusion. This is for calling me out here, not for when I am here. Do you just like hearing the sound of the chime?
In the last game, the plot was to take the mom's ashes up a mountain. In this game, the plot, I give up. You definitely lose that simplicity and focus from the last game, but there's a new kind of fun in trying to detangle such a massive web of characters.
Kratos? Snack?
I do not need a snack.
Ragnarok is Dr. Phil's greatest episode. It's a story about
Oh.
3 fathers, 3 mothers, and 3 children. 2 parents want to shelter their children. Another 2 are depressed because their sons got killed by the other dad. Then there's the fun dad. He's the most evil one of them all. After the game,
Horse.
Loki is impregnated by a horse. That's what it says on Wikipedia. The fuck? With so many characters taking the stage, it's a miracle that it doesn't collapse. It's a very segmented story with a lot of video gamey distractions in between.
Destroy 4 rat nests.
But just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. While it all hinges on this
Great.
massive battle, the story unfolds more like an intimate mystery, giving its incredible cast many scenes to flex their acting muscles. Just like The Matrix, God of War Ragnarok is a technologically advanced thrill ride where rebelling against prophecy only seems to seal your fate. It may not be high art, but it is definitely high entertainment, showcasing many talents at the peak of their powers. This game will surprise you, it'll make you laugh, it might even make you tear up, and it will keep your hands glued to the controller all the way into its action-packed finale. When the credits finally rolled on this massive conquest, there was only one thing I could say. God damn.
That's cool.
I see. You're deliberately attempting to push me into some sort of emotional outburst, aren't you? Well, I'm not so easily swayed, my good man. Stop it, stupid chime! Oh dear. I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from.
Good payoff. That looks like a really fun. I want to play the first one now so I can go play the second. Shit. That seems so cool. Huh. I love the boss fights that we saw. Oh my god. Even the Dunkey cut of Ragnarok caught me with the chills. Absolutely amazing. One of the few games I wish I can go back to and experience for the first time again. Honestly, the worst parts of the games were the slow traversal parts that are intentionally placed to slow you down in between load segments. PS4 game at heart, can't imagine how much better the flow would have been without the segments. Interesting. That makes sense. As goofy as it is, that interaction with the squirrel guy and the chimes, great way to handle repeating events in a video game. Instead of saying nothing or repeating the same phrase, he has onto what he said previously. Yeah, no, that small detail is really good. I think like games that have high budgets and are capable of doing stuff like that is really cool. They're like really like of having, because I think like, right, I played The Messenger, which had something like that where like you could talk to this dude a ton of times and he would have different dialogue each time. But it's easy to do that when there's no voice acting. So actually paying a voice actor to do all that shit for something that like 1% of players will see is really cool. When I finished this game, I actually went and gave my dad a hug. It made me realize the sacrifices he made to keep me safe. That's interesting. I'm sure if I played the game, I would understand. One complaint I felt was that the final fight that we were building up to felt kind of empty. Not about the boss fight, but barely starting the armies we assembled fight with us. That seems like a fair criticism. Interesting. No game has ever blown me away like this, just the attention to details and the amount of clutter and assets that were made, and how well it performed on last gen. It's mind-blowing. This looks so cool. What's the 530
When the credits finally rolled on this massive conquest, there was only one thing I could say. God damn.
It was pretty good. Ah, Kratos can't start his own farm. Sag. Huh. The final scene hit me hard. I'm curious. He was looking at a mural. Wait, is this it? I'm so confused. All I know is like you can definitely tell here, like, fuck. This game had moments that will be remembered and looked back upon for years to come. Incredible stuff from the music. The music that Dunkey put in this video was so fucking good. I'm so curious about this game. I really want to play it now. Really neat. Really neat. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye. Hey folks, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like the video, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.